In today's video, I'll be giving you guys my first impressions of Ruse, Instinct of the Den, a Fox-themed mid to heavyweight Euro game that is currently on Kickstarter. Now, before we dive into this video, I just want to let you know that everything that you're seeing is in prototype form, so please keep that in mind. Things are subject to change, and I'm in no way being paid for this video, but the game was provided by the designer and publisher. Everything in this video is my own personal thoughts and opinions, and I'll be letting you guys know what those are at the end of this video. But first, I want to show you guys kind of how this game plays by playing one round of it, showing you everything that this game has to offer. Well, maybe not everything, because this is a Euro, there is a lot going on, but my goal is to give you guys a good understanding about how this game works, so you guys can understand the gaming experience that you're going to get from this in case you end up backing this game. With that being said, let's just jump right into it. So this game is played over 4 rounds, and there are 3 phases per round, and the player with the most amount of victory points at the end of the game wins. To keep track of your victory points, you can see everyone will get these little fox head meeples, and this is where you keep track of your victory points on this border around the game board. If you ever reach over 100, you put one of your cubes out there like so to let you know that you passed 100. Everybody is given their own personal player board with their own unique colors, 2 action dice that they can use right at the beginning of the game, more action dice that they can unlock during the game, and their very own unique ability from one of these Ruse tiles. Everyone also starts with their own resources. This just means any one resource that you want, and this means 2 growth points, which I'll get into in just a minute. Next to your personal board, they have the den tile. This is where you're going to be placing dens tiles, growing out your den, unlocking different victory points, making them connected, and getting more growth points and things like that. I'll explain how this works later on. Now, with that out of the way, let's move on to how a round starts. Alright, so here I have a 2-player game set up for you guys, and we're going to start with the first phase, which is called the Fate phase. Players will gather their sitting fox meeples, and they'll place it on the destiny board to determine turn order. Now, the player who would be first after this would be the player with the most amount of victory points, and then second place would go next, and then third place and fourth place if they're playing with more players. How this works is first place would be placing their fox meeple here, and you would show that they do this action, which is reveal a fate tile, which, as you can see, is this. All players would get any one resource of their choice. I'll explain resources later on, but that is that. Second player gets to determine if this round is going to be day or night, and if you were playing with 3 or 4 players, you can actually get special bonuses for those. So let's take a sample here. Let's grab one here. This means the third player can move up on this any one of these tracks that they would like by 1. And then again, this symbol means that player would get any 1 resources. This symbol, when this is revealed from this affects all players. These are only for that player. Hope that makes sense. Alright, so now that we did the first player's turn, we can do the second player's turn, which would be roll this fate dice to determine if it is a day or a night turn. This would determine how much your fox can move during the next phase. It might not make sense right now, but I'm just going to roll it to show you guys. So I got a 5, and this dice is awesome because it tells you if it's a moon or a sun, so I got a 5, that means this is night. So we're going to put that there, and then we're going to move this to the night to indicate that this is a nighttime round. Also, because this is the first round, all players will get to draw 2 tiles from the bag and place 1 out. So I'm just going to do that quickly here now. Draw 2 tiles from the bag. Every round has a beginning bonus that they can do. I got these 2 tiles, and I'm just gonna show you guys right here. I'm gonna place mine. You can place it anywhere on your den board, but whatever you cover up, you can get that. Hey everyone, Future Clayton here. I just want to clarify something. My goal for this video is to make it as accurate as possible. So I did show this overview part of the video to the designer. He had a few rule corrections for me to share with you guys. Nothing too major, but I want to make sure that this video is accurate so you guys can have a good understanding before you decide on backing this game or not. First things up, it wasn't clear in the rulebook for me that where you start placing your tiles on your den board, and you're actually supposed to start in this middle section here, not wherever you want. If that's clear, this bottom middle section here, that's where you're supposed to first place your tiles, not wherever you want. In the production copy, that would be made more clear, and I'm sure the rulebook will be updated as well. But I wanted to let you guys know that, and there'll be a few more corrections in this video, so keep that in mind. I'll explain that part more when I talk about exploring a den in that section of the video. With that being said, let's get back to it. So I actually want to get a lot of growth points to start, so I'm going to put mine actually there. I'm going to save that victory point slot for later, and I'm going to gain growth points. So growth points are something in the game that you can consider like currency. You can spend them to manipulate dice and do other actions. So I believe I got three growth points. So I'll move that 3 up on my board there. This is the tracker that keeps your growth points. And then if you ever get more than 10, you move this up 20 and so on and so forth. So that is how that works. I'll explain growth points more when it comes up in the game. Before we go any further into this video, I just want to quickly talk about the player powers that players get at the beginning of the game. They get these Ruse tiles, and this is kind of powers they can use on their turn whenever they want. And this tile just means I can move no matter what, if it's day or night. I don't have to hinder to the movement requirements if it's day or nighttime. So this means I can move up to 3 spaces in any territory. That's player's power. And this one, it has more to do with hunting, which I'll explain hunting later on in the game. Let's jump into the next phase. So once the freight phase is over, all players gain their different bonuses based off the round. We move into the collection and action phase. All players will take one of their action dice and they will roll it to determine how many growth points they get for that round. Alright, as you can see, the third player rolled a 3 and the second player rolled a 6. Now this is not actually how many growth points you earn. There's actually a different chart that you can find in the rulebook to determine how many growth points you get. In this case, I rolled a 3, which actually means if I roll between a 3 and a 4, I actually get 3 growth points. And if you roll a 5 or 6, you only get 2 growth points. So in this instance, you almost want lower dice rolls to get more growth points. So orange player would gain 3, moving up over here to get to 6. This player would only get 2. And now based off this dice roll, they get to determine what actions they want to do during this round. There's 2 different ways to explore in this game. You can explore their vital territories, which are the rivers, the forest, the farm, or the fields, or you can explore your den. You kind of want to consider what you roll because this will determine different things that you can do. One more thing I forgot to mention, all players start with these personal objective cards. I'll explain how these work later because these are pretty much how you determine where you want to go in these vital territories. Let's start off by talking about the vital territories because this is going to be one of the big components of the game. This is kind of where your worker placement comes in. So based off that action dice roll, remember that I rolled a 3, and what's your private objectives? That's going to be the driving factor of where you want to go. Looking at my hand and looking on the board, there's a hunter in the brown section, which means I might not be able to hunt, so I probably don't want to go there. I'll explain this guy later when I talked about obstacles and stuff like that, but I just want to get the basics down for you guys to understand. So I look at this card, I see I need 2 farm resources, and I need to be at the number 4 spot on this track here in order to complete this card. If I don't complete it by the end of the game, I will lose 4 victory points. If I do complete it, I get 8 victory points, and I get these bonuses down here, which means I gain 3 growth points, and I get one of these special tiles here. These special tiles get you more bonuses that you can use through the game. Okay, next, what I do with my dice is, because I want to complete this card, I have to place it in one of these 2 spots in this territory, and then I look to see what bonus I can get. I could go here, and what I would get is just one of these special bonus tiles, which gets me a new bonus. In this example, if I did do that, I would draw this. But I actually don't want to draw a tile, I actually want to get a resource to help me complete this card. So I'm going to place my 3 here, and because it's a -1, I actually can spin my dice down to 2 and get this bonus instead, which is actually 1 farm resource and a tile. So the lower the number, the better, I find. Quick correction right now, I couldn't actually place my dice here. I'm actually forced to go in the free spot and have to take the bonus action that's available in that section for what I rolled, which is a 3, which would be one of those special territory tiles. I can only go in this spot if the free spot was taken by another player. Small correction there, just want to make sure that came across. So I would get this, places my bonus personal supply. I get this, which is the special star icon. This gives me a bonus as well. I'll explain this bonus and other things like obstacles at the end of the round. Now that I've done that, I place my fox at the base of the territory, and again, determine if this is night or daytime will determine if my fox can move on these tiles either 2 or 3 spaces. Because it is nighttime, I can move my fox up to 3 spaces. But I also have a special ability on my board that says if it's day or night, I can move 3 regardless. Oh, sorry, that hunting tile fell off. All right, so now I want to explain what each of these symbols mean on these tiles, because if I'm going to move my fox here, I can choose one of these actions, spin my dice down depending on whatever it calls for, and take that action. Before I do that, let me explain what each one of these action abilities do. Starting off with this symbol here, if I spin my dice down 1, I can take the mark your territory action. What this means is I can place my this component here on this tile. Now anytime someone crosses this, they actually lose 1 growth point and I gain 1 growth point. If they end their movement on this tile, I actually gain 2 growth points and they lose a growth point. I also would gain 1 if I'm the one moving through it as well. Another thing to do with these territories, you can only have 1 per territory section area, and if you can get them out, you can unlock more victory points. You can only have 1 marked territory per region, and another player can take it over by claiming the same action. They just have to pay you their growth points first. And what happens is, if someone takes that action, for example, if this player decided to mark their territory here, they would then discard mine, and then it is removed for the rest of the game. Hope that kind of makes sense. This action means I can go hunting, and if I perform this action, again, spend that many dice value down, which in this case is 2, I'd flip this token over, I would gain the bonus. In this case, it is 3 growth points, and then I would take this tile, and it would go on my player board on the first slot there. As you can tell, the more hunting you can do, the more bonuses you can get, victory points, moving up on these tracks, gaining resources, and gaining cheese. Again, all kinds of different good bonuses. The last action I can do is go up on the track here, which is determined by the color, which in this example, we are doing farms, so you move up 1 on the yellow track there. Okay, so another action you can do here, you can see this symbol here. This means you can level up your little kit dice that's on your personal board. This means you can spend 2 and increase this to be 1 higher, to go to a 2. I'll explain this and why this is important when I talk about exploring a den. The last tile that I kind of need to explain is this beaver. Pretty much what this means, if you cross a beaver, you spend 2 on your dice and you get this special beaver ability, which means pretty much players are going to be losing growth points if they cross it. If you have the beaver icon, you're going to be gaining growth points. So it's just another way to kind of gain growth points. I'll go more in detail about this type of thing and all these other bonuses and obstacles at the end of the round. And the hunter, I'll explain how he works also at the end of the round. All right, so let's say I move my fox and I only have 2 on my dice. So if I spend 2, I have to hunt or do that, and then I lose my dice. However, you can spend growth points to manipulate the dice. So let's say I had 6 growth points. I'm going to spend 4 of them to get this up to a 6 so I can do more actions. So I'm going to spend 2 to definitely, well, actually, you know what? I need to complete this objective. So I'm going to spend 2 to move up on this board. This gets me this special tile over here. This means I can move the hunter tile to a different region, especially if I want to explore there. I will definitely want to do that. So I'd spin this down to 2, so this would go to 4. I'd go here. I'll probably spend another 2 to go up to here. I get 4 victory points for that. I was at 5, I'm now at 9. And then I probably would want to end my movement there. One more quick correction here that I want to share with you guys. I did make a mistake when it comes to movement. You can't actually take multiple actions on different tiles. You actually have to move to the tile that you wish to take actions on, and then you can actually take up to all the actions on that tile if you wish to do so, as long as you play the appropriate amount of points to spin your dice down. So what I did here was a little wrong. I took 2 actions on different tiles. I couldn't have done that. But the actions I did do were still correct. And then next player can decide what they're going to do. And then if you have any extra action dice, we can then do the repeated steps, which is roll this, gain the appropriate amount of growth points depending off this chart, and again choose to either explore these territories or explore your den. So let me explain how exploring your den kind of works. Alright, let's say you are exploring your den. For this action, you place the action dice that you rolled here, and based off this number determines what you get to do and how many tiles you get to draw from your little baggie. So in this instance I roll a 3, so I actually get to draw 2 and get to put 1 down. If I roll the 6, I actually can draw one of these special bonus tiles up here, which I'll show you, which are really good because again they're really good connection pieces to help build your engine over there, and they give you growth points, any resource you want, or for victory points. These are really good. So if you roll a 6, this is something that you probably want to do. I'll just set that to the side there. I'll fix that pile later. Anyway, so in this example, I only rolled a 3, so I only get to draw 2 tiles and place 1 down. So I'm just going to quickly do that. This means 1 victory point. This means you get 2 growth points if you can get it connected. So whenever you cover up a slot, you get that bonus. This would go, if I probably want to do this here, if I wanted to go for victory points, so I'd get 5 victory points, and that way that is connected very well. And I'd get my 5 victory points like so. Now I just quickly want to explain how these connected tiles work in case it didn't quite make sense. Anytime you place a new tile down, if it connects with a previously played piece, you get all the bonuses connecting those pieces together. So in this example, I would get 2 victory points and 2 growth points every time I connect a piece to this new path. Now another thing you can do when you explore your den is develop these cubes here, which is called develop an instinct. Now in order to do this, you need to have a dice here, and then this cube can go into one of these slots up here, which means you get that ability for the rest of the round. These are all pretty sweet abilities. This one is like, again, you don't hinder your movement. This one you always gain an extra growth point, so on and so forth. I'm not going to explain every single ability because this video would be too long. But in order to develop an instinct, you must first meet the requirements that's listed on your den board. So in order to develop my first fox instinct, I need to complete 1 objective. So that's kind of what I was going for last round. So as an example, I'm going to jump right into phase 3 and then tell you what happens if I completed this and I could do this. Alright, let's just jump right into phase 3, where you can now start developing your kit dice. You get to complete your objectives, things like that, and reset the board. So in this example, let's say I want to start developing my kit dice, which will earn me more victory points at the end, and then when I take my Explorer, my den icon, I can start moving this dice onto that, which is why I wanted to jump into this right away. So during phase 3, I can now start spending any remaining growth points I have to start developing these kits. Remember, I already developed, sorry, these should all be at 1. I already started developing this one to be a 2. I would spend 2 growth points. Each one tells you which how many growth points you need to move it forward 1 space. That would move it there. I would then spend another 2 to probably move that. And then I'd spend another 2 to move it forward. Now as soon as I cross one of these symbols, I get that bonus. Again, this symbol means increase this by 1. I don't know how well you guys can see that. And I pass that, so I'd get 1 victory point. So I'd go up 1 on the board. Now what this symbol actually means here is once this dice passes that location, I can unlock another kit dice. And what this means is I can grab this dice here, you can see that symbol there. This will go here, and I can develop another kit dice. Now keep in mind that you still have to spend the appropriate number of growth points to develop this one space. This is 2, this one's 3, and this one is 4. Same thing with this one. When this one passes this 5 symbol, it'll go like that, like there. Now, another thing you can do during that action phase, if you explore your den, and this one, and you have a kit dice already developed at the end of your board, it's at the appropriate number here, which is 4 or up. Same thing with this one, if this is at 5 or up. This can actually go on your den board like so. It will look something like this, or it should look like something like this. Like that, or something like that, and you have reached all the requirements. I kind of just sped this up a little bit to show you later on in the game. Your board should look something like this. So this means in order to develop an instinct, you must meet all the requirements, which is complete a public objective. So let's say you complete a public objective. Your kit dice has reached its final spot on your personal board, which was right there. And you have a connecting path all the way to that cube. You can now develop your instinct, which that means as soon as that happens, you meet all the requirements, you take this, and you get to choose which spot you want here and place it in here. I'll kind of explain what this is now. This R means something different. This means, again, your hinder movement does not affect you during night time, I believe, or no. This actually means move 1 extra space during the movement phase when you can move your fox, which is really awesome. That can help you get to an extra spot. This means you always get 1 extra growth point during the round. Again, all these are permanently in play as soon as you unlock that ability. And if you get all 5, you get an extra 20 points, which can be quite a lot. All right, let me jump over to talk about obstacles and give you guys my final thoughts. So as you kind of start learning the game and drawing these tiles, you come across certain ways to get obstacles. The main obstacle in the game is probably the hunter. And pretty much if a hunter's in a zone, you cannot take the hunt action to claim this bonus or mark your territory. So if he's in a zone, you probably don't want to go there for a round. Unless you get one of these tiles, which helps you move him, so you can get him out of your roam. And he moves at the end of every round clockwise. Another obstacle you can encounter and what you can do to other players are things like the bear, the wolf, which is similar to the hunter, but instead you can't mark your territory. It's something else. I don't want to get into all the details again, but each one of these are stuff that you can gain and kind of put onto other players in different territories. A little bit of take that to it. I'll show you a chart of what each one of these do right now. And other bonuses like cheese, the star can give you different things as well. Again, I'll show you guys quickly here what these mean. Again, you gain these by drawing those different tiles. All right, before jumping over to my final thoughts, I quickly want to talk about public objectives because I didn't really cover them as much. But this is another way to get victory points in the game. Pretty much the first player to complete a public objective will earn the most amount of points, which is 12, second player 10, and so on and so forth. There's a bunch of different public objectives. In this example that I'm showing you now is first player or any player to connect 3 connecting tiles in a den would get this public objective. There's honestly just tons of different ways to gain victory points, down to developing your den, moving up on your tracks here in the territories, gaining different bonuses, lots of different ways to gain victory points, which is a good sign from a good Euro. Which will bring me into my final thoughts, and I must admit, I absolutely love this game. I honestly really do. It was a lot of fun to play. I played this game about 4 times. 1 3-player game and then 3 2-player games. I'm always trying to find a new strategy to play. I always discover a new ability to use in a different way. I'm always trying to focusing on developing my den and develop my kits so I can get that 20 bonus. It's something that's very hard to do and not likely to happen every single game. Sometimes I more want to focus on these tracks over here to get me more victory points. There's tons of things that I probably could have covered a little bit better in this video, but I just wanted to give you guys an overall sense about how this game plays. I personally really enjoy it. Again, there's a lot going on here, a lot of things to focus on. I kind of wish there was another round every time I play so I can do more stuff. I'm also a little bit biased because I really do love foxes. They are my favorite animal, and this is definitely a really good fox game that I would recommend for someone that loves foxes as well. However, with that being said, because this is by a first-time publisher, I would almost want to err a little bit on the caution side when it comes to backing this, especially if you own a lot of Euros already. This is a lot to deliver on by a first-time publisher. It has been in development for what I believe over 4 years, so they do want to make sure it does get the backers. So what I only recommend backing this is if you really believe in the project and what you've seen in this video here today sounds like a game that you want in your collection. Also, please ask any questions and air your concerns in the Kickstarter comment section, because I'm sure the publisher and the designer would love to hear them and help put those to ease in order for you to trust and believe in this project to bring it to life. With that being said, I hope showcase this game to the best of my abilities so you guys can decide if you're backing this or not. Please let me know in the comment section down below, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Take care. Bye.